And welcome into our sports talk at the segment uh, here at Williams-Brice Stadium, brought to you by the South Carolina soybeans and their farmers. Learn more at scsoybeans.org, pork powered by soy. And you can check out the scsoybeans.org logo there on our now sponsored Sports Talk at the Stadium segment here at Williams-Brice, where, boy, it's been a crazy week, no doubt about it. It was kind of surreal without Steve Spurrier in this stadium for the first time in over a decade. His familiar voice over the video board saying it's time for Carolina football did not play. He didn't run out of the tunnel. His visor and all his antics on the sideline weren't there. Sean Elliott had to inherit a very tough situation. There's a reason why Steve Spurrier isn't here. It's because this team and this program is dealing with a lot of issues that he allowed to happen on his watch, certainly, and that he knew he couldn't fix. And it's really an almost impossible task to put on Sean Elliott or anyone to say, here, midway through the season, have at it. Good luck. But Sean Elliott found a way, at least for a game, to get a win that South Carolina, this program, this fan base, maybe even this town really needed, given everything that's happened here over the past couple of weeks. The Gamecocks not only found a way to win, but I think played their best game of the season. Now, they didn't solve all of their problems by any stretch. There are still major issues and holes in terms of talent on this roster and on this team, but they did have a season high in yardage on offense, 424. Perry Orth had his first win as a starting quarterback. Pharaoh Cooper had a season high in terms of yards gained. He had a big game, 160 yards on 7 catches. For Pharaoh, Brandon Wiles, 120 yards rushing on 24 carries. They had a nice day offensively. Defense forced 5 turnovers, their most opportunistic performance of the season. They were +3 in the turnover battle here against Vanderbilt. Now, Vandy, they're not the greatest team in the SEC. In fact, they're the last thing from the greatest team in the SEC. They're the only team right now below South Carolina in the SEC standings. So you're not ready to call them world beaters. The Gamecocks did not score a red zone touchdown. They were inside the Vandy 24 times and did not score a touchdown. Once they had first and goal from the 2 and did not score a touchdown. Elliott Fry is probably icing his leg right now. He attempted 6 field goals. He made 4 of them, doinked a 55-yarder off the upright there at the end of the half, and had another one that he probably should have made. One of those red zone opportunities that they didn't get any points on was another field goal that he doinked off the upright. But still, the Gamecocks did move the ball. They did have a lot of yards. They just weren't scoring touchdowns, and that has been their bugaboo all season. Orth, I mentioned, he had his best day, 17 to 28, 272, a touchdown and an interception. That touchdown, a 78-yarder to Pharaoh Cooper. He had a bunch of drops out there. Cooper dropped the touchdown pass that he should have definitely caught. He had a couple of drops today. Belton had a couple of drops. Darrell Adams, I think we were trying to tally them up. Unofficially, we got around 6 or 7. So Perry Orth played very well for the Gamecocks today, and this was a nice win for them. They're still going to have more than they probably want beginning after the bye week with Texas A&M, but they found a way to get a win. It was kind of, I mentioned, a surreal atmosphere. It wasn't a big crowd. I know traffic, I was told, was a real mess out there. The state fair is going on across the street, all sorts of things. There's still back roads around Columbia that are washed out. So it wasn't your typical Saturday afternoon of football, certainly at Williams-Brice, but a win nonetheless for the Gamecocks. And now they get a bye week, and we'll see what Sean Elliott does in that bye week now that he has his legs underneath him, so to speak, and a chance to maybe build a little bit more. There were areas where you could see his fingerprints right away, well, just from before the game, and they came out in all black uniforms during the game. He said he wanted AC/DC plays during third downs, little things like that, and he admitted this, don't make a hill of beans when it comes down to the actual performance on the field. One thing that they did offensively that I think helped them today was they improved and increased their tempo. They were moving at a much higher pace, going to the line, getting their plays and running them. Not as many check with me's, not as many plays where they line up and then stop, and then the play clock winding down. They seemed a lot more streamlined, and I think that's because they don't have as many people trying to call the plays. It was a definite better scenario there offensively. They looked a lot more fluid than I think they have all season, and the numbers back that point up in terms of season highs in a lot of different areas there offensively. So that's good, and if they can find a little more efficiency there, that'll be great. They still they don't have players that they need to really win big and beat some of these teams down the stretch. They are going to struggle against Texas A&M. They are going to struggle against Clemson. They're going to struggle probably against Florida and at Tennessee. They just don't have it right now, but maybe they can improve. Maybe they can find some guys that they can count on, and that's what this season has to be about it, and trying to get some stability where people, whoever's leading this program next season, they feel like they have some guys in place, and there's some hope. And I do think that at least for a night, Gamecock fans feel a little bit better after it's been a very tough run for them for the past 5-6 days, really even longer if you go back to some of the things that have happened this season. So the Gamecocks get it done. They knock off Vanderbilt. Appreciate you tuning this in here at Sports Talk at the Stadium. Check out Sean Elliott's first post-game press conference. Very just I keep using that word surreal. It is just we knew Steve Spurrier was nearing the end, but as abruptly as these things happen, it does. I think it throws everybody off. I can imagine what it was like for the players. Again, our Sports Talk at the Stadium segment brought to you by the South Carolina soybean farmers and their checkoff. You can learn more at scsoybeans.org, and pork powered by soy. Appreciate you checking us out here at Sports Talk at the Stadium.